Hello, good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday, almost weekend. We are here to join with a Canadian artist. She's Jasmine Cadenhead. She's gonna tell us about her process, about her art. I know she's gonna be at her studio, so we're gonna get to see her artworks, the artworks that she's gonna give us to us for our showroom. So we're just waiting for her to join. Hello, welcome, Anne, Shalom, Sergio, everyone. Good morning. We are very excited for today's live. We are talking to this Canadian artist. She's also an art therapist. She works with adults. So we are going to ask her about this work and this therapy that she's been doing for a while. Let's see if she joins. So we are waiting for her, and please, you know that you can ask her some questions, write them on the text so we can ask her. She's in, so we're gonna invite her. Questions. You're gonna love her art. Very, very earthy. You're gonna see why I'm saying this. So I'm very excited. Hey, how are you, Jasmine?
Hi. Good.
Welcome.
How are you guys?
I'm very good. I'm very
me.
happy.
Yeah. Can you hear me okay?
I hear you perfectly. You hear me well?
Perfect, girl.
Great. Oh, I see like a beach behind you. I love it.
See? I'm in a little corner of my studio here.
Yes, yes. So let's start. Why don't you start telling to all of the people that joined to this live today, where are you based? Where are you from? Where are you now?
I'm from Vancouver, Canada, but I've been living here in Mexico for 2.5 years now, almost. Time has flown super quickly here, and I'm in between still here and Canada a lot. So I have a therapy practice that I do there, and more of an art practice that I do here. So, yeah.
And well, we're gonna speak about your art therapy later. So, but it's important for me to ask also, did you consider to start working on therapy here in Mexico or just painting?
Yeah, I would love to. It's been something I've been talking about with some people here, and I would love to start some groups, especially during this time, as I just really strongly believe in the healing power of art, and I'm used to running women's groups and group art therapy. So, yeah, that's something I'm looking into. Definitely still working on the Spanish. A little bit
¿Hablas un poquito
embarrassed.
español?
Still going to Spanish class. Sí.
Of course, we can help you.
Sure.
Okay, so and why did you move to Mexico? Projects that brought you here? How do you feel your career being here in Mexico? Do you miss Vancouver?
Yeah, it's an amazing city. I feel super lucky to be here, though, to be honest. I have met really amazing, I think when we first met, I was like, oh, great, the director's a woman. I've met really strong women, really influential in the art world. My first show, I was approached by this women's group called I'm Yanni, and they said, hey, we're this female music collective of artists and everything from engineers to orchestra conductors to singer-songwriters, and they said, can we open at your show, or can we close your show? Sorry. And I thought, wow, what a cool place to be where this is just happening. How lucky am I? So I love those girls, and we've continued to grow our kind of community here in the arts, and I've felt super well received coming here. I had a show right away, and yeah, everything's just been flowing since then. So I decided, you know what, let's try and make Mexico my home, and yeah.
And suddenly 2 years have passed.
Yeah, And then just like this, no?
Exactly, exactly.
No, you're in
We welcome also,
thing.
we have other artists that are joining, Amaury, and so everyone, hello from Brazil, people joining from Brazil. So thank you everyone for joining. So why don't you tell us about your work, your technique, how you started your career as an artist?
Yeah, and it came somewhat organically from a self-care process. I'm a trauma therapist. Like I work in the trauma field as an artist, and so after work, sometimes I would come home and roll out the canvas, and do all these things to take care of myself after, just to get everything out. And it really came from that, working like that, and working with lots of different natural elements. And then I really began to enjoy the process so much. I took it more seriously, more and more seriously. And yeah, so super, super organically. And the technique has always been with resin. As I was in Canada, there's surfing in Canada. People are like, what? That's crazy. It's so cold. But I was in my friend's surf shop, and he was making a surfboard with the resin, and I was like, can I paint with this, you think? And he was like, yeah, of course. You add pigment to it. It's super hard and crazy to work with. Good luck. And I was like, I'm going to try that. So it came from experimenting, and probably 6-7 years of experimenting now, and lots of messes and destroyed floors, apartments. So yeah. So
And
yeah. And
that's
here
why.
it's been.
No, tell me, you tell
Sorry.
me. Sometimes
No, here it's been.
I lose you a little bit. I don't know if you can check
Yeah.
your Wi-Fi connection.
Yeah. No, I'm good. It looks like we're full here. But no, here it's been a totally different experience, because just the pigments of Mexico, and I've studied a bit in Oaxaca, and brought a lot of different elements of Mexico into my work. So the work's changed, I would say, quite a bit since I've been here.
Mexico, of course, has been touching your art, and I know. Tell us about your topographic art, because there's like a very deep vision of your artworks within the earth and the water. And I wanted to ask you, why water? Why are you so connected with the water and bringing it into all of your art?
Yeah, well, I mean, I grew up around water, and it's always been a part of my life, for sure. So naturally, working with it just felt super, super nice. And there was that cathartic process after therapy to like wash the canvas and wash all the pigments on and off and on and off. And then watching how other different artists use water was incredible. Like I don't know if you know this artist, Olafur Ellison. I probably butchered his name.
Mm-hmm.
He had something called the Weather Project, and he uses water to engage the viewer and to empower the viewer to become part of the piece. So he has like in this one part, mist coming down, and you walk into a dark room, and there's just a rainbow created with light, the mist, and us, right? So he really, I kind of got thinking about this when I saw his work, about how these different elements can engage us. And so with that piece, like, you created the rainbow, because the only way that a rainbow exists is through the optical like refraction in our eyes. So I kind of thought, wow, we don't need to think, we can just use these very simple materials to have a very like profound kind of connection to the piece of art, to an element, right? And reconnecting ourselves back to nature. So some things like that have been really moments that I've like been like, wow, this is super interesting. How can I work with this element too?
Yes, and you express your emotions through this water, right? Through this movement of the water. We will share on the IG a video of Jasmine showing how she works with how you make the movement of the water of the artworks with your hands and with your arms. It's like a dance,
Yeah,
I believe.
that's super important for me. And also super important to incorporate, like, say if I have a client or like, sorry, if I'm doing a commission for someone, like really empowering them to become part of that process and to talk about what kind of, whether it's a seascape or a landscape, what kind of experiences they've had and how does that, you know, kind of out of our body and how can I create that. So I want to really include the client and the elements as the like co-creator of the piece, you would say, I guess. So really each one being able to connect to the piece, I guess.
And how did you get to succeed with the topographic idea? Because we will in a shortly see your artworks to explain everyone what we mean with the topographic. But how, because for me, it's like if you are up in the sky on an airplane and you go down and see the sea and the earth when you are almost going to arrive somewhere in the world. How did you imagine that idea?
Well, just talking to different clients and realizing, you know, this old, and I don't know if we were talking about this before, this Rorschach test, which is this ink blot test of psychology. Yes. So yes. I kind of began to think about landscape in the way of, this is so much about perception and less about like an actual photograph or an actual place of like Oaxaca or behind me like a cenote, or this is a seascape, for example, but it's more about this felt sense of the place rather than, like you said, like it may look like the overhead or being under and looking up, but it's really more about our felt sense of the place. And this test is like an ink blot that you look at and it tells you, you know, in psychology, it was used a lot to diagnose people or to find some inner workings of the brain. But I thought, no, like if we're looking at landscapes, we're also taking in that same information. So, and it's looking completely different to each of us. So I thought, wow, wouldn't that be interesting to make a bunch of the same landscape, but having different people tell me about their felt sense about the space or about the landscape or their memories, how, you know, convoluted or not, that's how we remember the space.
Yes, I know that memories are very important part of your artwork.
Yes. Yes.
So I think we are all very curious to see what's behind you and to see a little bit of your studio, the materials that you use to create them. Can you show us?
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna switch here while I can switch around. And so I have some pigments here, and some of these are from Oaxaca. I was super lucky to study there for a while with the Porfirio family. And so this is actually Cochinilla, and you can see I crushed it up a little bit before this. So you can see the kind of red, pink color coming out of it.
Yes.
This is actually a beetle that grows on the nopali cactus. And when you muddle it all up and mordant and have a dye bath for a couple of days, you get really, really strong, beautiful, like you can see, red coloring.
Wow.
Like this. So some pieces that I like to start with linen or a canvas and dye, and that will be the underneath layer, the first layer of the piece. So I really want the materials to reflect the landscape in that way. And then these three materials here, they're super nice earthy colors, red, madder, and these are actually this man, a scientist named John Sabraw in Ohio. He's dredging riverbeds and he's turning pollution into paint. This is like incredible to me. I saw him at a TED Talk and I asked him, like, can I have some samples? He sent me these right away. He's an amazing guy. I would encourage anyone to like connect it with him. So some of these you can see in this big one.
Wow. Yeah.
This is like this. So you see this iron oxide is in these colors in this piece here,
Yeah,
and
on the right side. Yes.
yeah, some of the details here, and then here, and then also in this one too. It's super hard with the glare, and I got the sun going on here. But yeah, you see in here. And then these are the darker indigos, and
I love that blue indigo. I love it. It's
yeah,
like
it's almost
one of
like
my favorite
glowing,
colors.
like it's like backlit, but it's not. It's just the pure like super saturated pigments. Um, and yeah, and then here's some coppers and some ores.
How long does it take you to create a piece like that one that you show us with all these pigments and with the resin? I think it takes longer to use the linen than a canvas, right? It's more delicate, the linen.
Yeah, I mean, it depends really like on how the materials are behaving. Like some piece could take 2 weeks. This big one was almost a month on and off of working with it because I like to build the canvas from scratch too. Not me personally, but each canvas is handmade. That would be the next one. Each canvas is handmade, and so there's a process too. I go out and find the pigments to stretch this to have the canvas in a dye bath and then pour the resin. So it's super labor intensive, but some just such a process that I enjoy from beginning to end. So it's long, but it's super enjoyable for
Meditative.
me.
Do you use music when you create your artworks?
Yeah, yeah. I think I like to have music on, but sometimes it's super nice just to be in silence too. Like I find living in Mexico and not being from such a large city that it's so loud, and sometimes I just have just nothing. It's just
Yes,
very peaceful.
yes.
Yeah.
So is there any ritual that you have before you create? Because I feel that your artwork is very, I don't know, like joined with you, with your body. So I don't know if you have any ritual that you have before starting a piece, how you, if you imagine it before, or you just go and flow while you are creating it.
Yeah, like if it's for someone specifically, a collector, I would talk a lot with them about it, about the space and about their memory and about environment. If it's a piece I'm creating from my own felt sense of a space, yeah, I usually have a ritual of lighting sage or Palo Santo and making the studio a really peaceful place because, a little respite from the city. Um, and yeah, I sometimes look at images of the Earth super, super close up and then
Mm.
far away. So it'll be a bit of both. Like it'll be a really tiny microorganisms on this rock, and then like really I'll zoom way out using like the Google Earth or a photograph. Um, I'm really lucky. A friend of mine, he's a seaplane pilot, and sometimes I'm like, oh, send me a photo, like of
Ah,
when he's flying. So he'll just super, super lucky to have people that are in these amazing spaces, and then they always send me inspiration. Like,
and what would be for you other kind of inspiration or even artists? Which artists you admire and inspire you?
yeah, like I was mentioning before, there's Mexico City's been amazing. There's a lot of creative women here and artists like Maria Cornejo, Scarlett Bailey. Um, there's a Canadian artist friend of mine here now, Whitney Lewis Smith, and they're all working with nature, women's bodies, women empowering women on a really doing super. And I really love really large scale work. It's you can see, but I like to see other women working on a really large scale, like doing 8-foot portraits and like really permission. Like it's for me, like permission to take up space now and seeing more women in galleries here, and it's like just it's saying something really big pieces. And um, who's another one? Anna Montiel, I believe. I might have butchered that, but she's working with like our subconscious mind, and she's creating these big, huge, beautiful pieces of work. And I've met her here in Mexico. So yeah, I'm super happy to, if anyone's curious about all these artists, like connecting you guys and people interested in this. So yeah.
And thank you. Your comment actually leads me to another question. Why was interesting for you to collaborate with a platform like ours, Unique Luxury? For everyone, I have to tell you, Jasmine is a new artist that has been joining the platform. You will see her art in the near future here in our gallery, exhibiting and of course commissioning pieces for us. And we are super excited. And why it was for your interest to collaborate with a platform like us, Unique
I
Luxury?
think, yeah, well, I think it was in the first like 2 minutes of our kind of like interview conversation on the phone that you said we're all about experience here. We want to have something different. And for me to get away from the kind of white big gallery that's very like clinical feeling and very you know, and move towards something that creates experience for people, right? To have people feel that they're not just at an art show, that it's paired, you know, with good conversation, with interesting materials available, maybe something they can touch and play with and feel like, wow, I'm in it. I'm part of this, you know? So really when you said, yeah, we're about creating completely different experiences, I thought, oh, this is great. Like I can work here. Yeah.
And we are very happy. We will do very interesting things, not just here in Mexico
Yeah.
City, but also in other destinations where we work. So we are very, for everyone, wait and come to see Jasmine artworks. So that will lead us to the final question. Tell us about the art therapy. How do you work with it? How did you arrive or started to make art therapy? Did you study psychology or how did that start?
Yeah, oops, no.
You hear me well?
Are we here?
Yeah, I am here.
Yep, it just paused for a second, but we're back. Yeah, I can't wait to see people in person. This will be such a treat.
Why?
Yeah, right? July. Please. The art therapy is something, yeah, like that was your question about the art therapy. So, yeah, obviously it overlaps and it's a bit blurry for me, my art and the art therapy and all this. But, yeah, I work with mainly adults with addictions in a mental health facility, and I use art as a modality of therapy. So just like you'd sit and have talk therapy, or you'd have rec therapy, you have art, and I provide a bunch of wide variety of different materials, and people are able to kind of say things that they're not able to say in talk therapy. I strongly believe that there's a lot that can be said through visually creating, and especially for people with a history of trauma, that often these things are, you know, almost unspeakable, but we can find a color, a texture, a pattern that might start the conversation or an inner dialogue. And yeah, I'm trained. I have my degree. I'm a registered art therapist in Canada. And yeah, I saw one of my art therapist friends join. Hi, Erica. And
Hello.
yeah, we have a great community there. Hello. And yeah, it's great. And even last time I went home, I went to teach a resin workshop, and it was just a one-on-one workshop, and it ended up being super therapeutic. And we ended up talking a lot about past relationships, and a lot of stuff came out in the material. And I was like, I thought this was just a pigment workshop or a resin workshop, but it turned out. So I think it's a really beautiful space to be vulnerable and without being too vulnerable. So yeah, I miss that work a lot. I'm definitely wanting to do some of that work here in Mexico.
Yes, I think it would be very important to do it. I know there's a lot of movements here in Mexico to help empower women, of course, and also to help people with different diseases or with addictions. But maybe we could create a different experience, because for us in Unique Luxury, it's not only about selling the artworks, but also to give back to our clients, to our members, and also experiences. So maybe we can create an experience with this resin and with your materials, and to make like a group therapy for everyone that wants in nature or in Cabo, for example. So I think it's very interesting and powerful what you do. So congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you. Super happy to be here. Looking forward to meeting everyone in person when it's safe to do so.
We are starting right now here in the gallery, slowly, with private appointments, receiving some clients, receiving people. So everyone, it's important for you to know that if you want to make your appointment, you can write to us to info@uniqueluxury.com to see the space, to see the artworks, and in the near future to see Jasmine art. Can you show us a little bit of the artwork that we are going to have here? I'm so excited. Maybe you can show them the pink one, the circular one.
Yeah, there's some. I have a couple more here. A couple are. Wait, here we
go. Before leaving, and hello, Valentin. I'm saying hello to everyone. Shirley, Danny, Danilo, Jessie, Lily. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hey.
And then here's another piece. And then you saw these two.
Yes.
Yes.
Hi, Susana.
See, so this is me in this moment. Hi, Jay.
We have Susana Vidal. She's a very good writer. She wrote a very important book from Frida Kahlo, about Frida Kahlo, as a fashion statement. Yeah, so I'm very excited that she joined us today. And we have Emily, everyone, Kari, just Daniel Crositero. Hello, everyone. If you have any questions, Alex Mignot is another artist. You remember him? He's half Venezuelan, half French. We had a lot with him. So anyone, if you have any questions to ask to Jasmine, this is the moment to make them, so we can answer all of your questions about the therapy, about the colors, about the materials, anything that you want to share before someone pop up with a question or we say goodbye.
Yes, for sure. I'm looking forward to more live chats in the studio, in the gallery. Hello.
In the gallery, yes.
Yeah.
We're gonna make something live here on the gallery with you, and hopefully some guests and clients in the near future when everything's open again.
It's a question after they thought of. I'm happy to connect on Instagram or send me a message.
Perfect. Thank you, Jasmine. So we will be posting your videos, your artwork. If anyone wants to see more, just write us to the Instagram or to the email, also Facebook, and Unique Luxury Art is another account.
Great.
Thank you, Jasmine, for your time today.
Te mando besos. Gracias por todo.
Muchos besos para ti.